Parents, welcome to this curriculum evening presentation. My apologies, it's via video link. I very much look forward to the time where we can invite you back into school for school events, school functions and presentations of this type. I hope you will find it useful and informative, and I also hope that the meeting this evening via WebEx at 7 p.m. with the teachers will prove equally informative, and there'll obviously be the opportunity to ask questions then and have those questions answered. I would like to now just take the opportunity to talk to you about relationships education, which has become statutory this September for all schools. I'd like to briefly touch upon our school development plan and to start off by explaining the procedures regarding COVID tests. It's obviously a difficult time for everybody, but if a child is unwell, we ask that you collect them from school straight away, please. And if they have the symptoms of COVID, please get a test. Now, you will obviously decide if those symptoms are an indicator of coronavirus. Now, if they have a test and that test is negative, we ask that you please send us that confirmation, and then as soon as the children are well enough to do so, they can come back to school as would be the normal routine if they've got an upset stomach or whatever that may be. Now, if the test is positive, the children need to be kept away from school for 10 days from when the symptoms started, and then they can return to school. Now, as regards the whole bubble isolating, at the moment the guidance isn't 100% clear. Initially, the government said that the whole bubble would have to isolate, so the bubble being the class, but that was changed. So basically, we will act upon the advice of Public Health England. Now, those procedures also apply for the staff as well, exactly the same situation. Now, I do hope that obviously we won't have any cases of coronavirus in the school. We don't want anybody having to isolate, and we certainly don't want a school closure. So by working together, I hope that we can make sure that that doesn't happen. But thanks very much for your support. Also wanted to briefly mention the parent survey. Thank you very much to those parents who completed the survey. The information was very useful. I'm pleased that you feel that we're doing many things very well, but I'm equally delighted by the fact that there was some feedback about areas that we can improve. I will write to you with the findings of that survey, and I will be looking at how we can address the points that were made and how we can improve certain areas of your children's school experience and your experience with West Lodge. So thank you very much for that. Now, in terms of our development plan, obviously the COVID protocols and ensuring that the children, the staff, everybody at West Lodge is safe is an absolute priority. And the other priority is getting the children back into school, settled back into the school routine, enjoying school and learning. And that certainly seems to have started very well. The children are doing very well in the first couple of days of term. Now, other priorities, a major one for us is continuing to develop our growth mindset initiative. Now, talking to the children, talking to the staff and feedback from parents, I think this has had a really, really positive impact for many, many children. Not everybody, but many, many children. So we need to keep working at it. Now, the next stage is metacognition. Now, metacognition is basically understanding how you learn. Knowing what to do to learn most effectively so that you can make the most of your knowledge. And we are going to implement a series of lessons across the school from reception up to year 6. Obviously nursery will do some work on this as well, but the actual programme starts in reception so that the children will understand effectively how they learn. Linked to this will be lessons about resilience as well, which are so important. Now, I'd just like to read to you a quote from an eminent educationalist, John Hattie. Now, John Hattie did a lot of research into this area, and he said, when tasks are complex for a student, the quality of metacognitive skills rather than their intellectual ability is the determinant of learning outcomes, which I think is really, really interesting. And it just demonstrates, certainly my view of education, that anybody with the right mindset can achieve and can be successful, and that is important for children, people of all abilities. So I think that's quite an exciting initiative, and we will share more information with you as we introduce that through the year. Other priorities this year are continuing to develop our assessment system. Now, I believe we've got a really, really comprehensive assessment system. with teachers judging the children's performance, making teacher judgments. We've got twice yearly assessments, and we've also introduced tracking and monitoring, formal tracking and monitoring of the children's personal development as well, which is equally important, just as important as their academic development. So we will share that information with you, and we want to work on improving that and further embedding it this year. Creating further leadership opportunities for the children is a priority, particularly the older children, and embedding our new RE curriculum. Now that started last year, and that was very much a priority, but it will continue this year, particularly after the school closure. Now the main area I'd like to talk to you about in this presentation is relationships education. Now, relationships education became statutory for all children, primary and secondary age, this September. Doesn't matter whether your child attends an independent school or a maintained school, it's statutory for all children. Now, some of the topics that are going to be covered in this relationship education are healthy relationships, friendships, family, growing and changing. This includes children learning about puberty and personal hygiene. And other topics are keeping safe, becoming independent, and most importantly, developing self-esteem and their own confidence. So this will be taught alongside and as part of our PSHE programme. Now, we spent a lot of time as a staff looking at West Lodge, considering our school and what is suitable for our children. And I really feel that protecting the innocence of childhood is really, really important. And whilst children need to be informed and learn about the changes that they're going to experience, I think protecting that innocence is really important. So we've put together a series of lessons for each class that build that knowledge, but also are appropriate for children of that age. And I'd like to share that with you now. So you will see on the screen an overview of the topics that will be taught in the various different year groups. So I'd just like to take the opportunity to go through those now. Now, in nursery reception, through Development Matters and the early years profile, children learn about growing and changing as part of that curriculum. So this really refers to year 1 up to year 6. So in years 1 and 2, children will be taught about their bodies, how to look after them, and to think about the differences between being male and female, very much in a positive way. And even at a young age, begin to think about equal opportunities in terms of gender as well, and equal opportunities more generally for everybody in society. In year 3, the children will think about what a family means. They will learn about the different types of family and understand that a family is a nurturing environment. They will be taught about challenging some of the gender stereotypes, and linked to science, they will learn the names for the male and female parts of the body. In year 4, the children will be introduced to puberty. Now, I wrote to the current year 5 parents last year because I wanted to trial this with year 4, and I taught these lessons with the class, and we had some fascinating lessons. We talked about gender stereotyping, and then we moved on to changes as you get older, and introduced the idea of puberty and personal hygiene. I think the children received the lessons really well. They found them beneficial, and that will continue this year. So puberty will be introduced as a theme in year 4, but it will be fairly light touch. Then in year 5, puberty will be a further theme of relationships and health education, particularly the health education aspect. Children go into a little bit more detail, and the girls will be taught about menstruation as well. And we will invite the Bexley School nurse into school to talk to the children. There'll be opportunity for the children to ask questions as well. And the girls and boys will be taught separately there. There will obviously be the normal PSHE topics that are taught alongside that. And then in year 6, puberty will be revisited, menstruation for the girls, and they will also, through science, the children will look at reproduction. But I would like to stress that we feel that sex education is not appropriate at this age, so the children will not be taught sex education. This will be a science topic. but they will also learn about different types of relationship as well, including LGBT families, and do some more work on equal opportunities and equality, which with children of that age is a really, really interesting discussion to have. So relationships education is very much an opportunity for the children to be positive about their emotional and physical well-being and their development. Now, relationships education is actually statutory. Parents can't withdraw their children from it. But I would like to reassure you that the material that we'll be teaching is completely appropriate, and a lot of thought has been put into it. So you can see from the overview on the screen what will be taught. And as I've said, this is part of the PSHE program. If you'd like more information, please do speak to me or speak to the class teachers. We do have an RS, a relationships education governor, who's responsible for oversight of that, and a presentation has been given to our governing body, and they're very happy with the content of what is going to be taught. There's also an RSE policy, which is actually on the website that you can read as well, which sets this out in more detail and explains the rationale behind those lessons. So thank you very much for joining me for this session. As I said at the start, the children have started the term really, really well. I'm delighted with how they've come back into school, seem really, really enthusiastic to see their friends, and obviously embracing the learning opportunities as well. So I'm sure this will be a really positive term. So thank you very much, and very much look forward to working with you.